And then by the time bedtime does roll around, he's beside himself.
Yeah.
So I do whatever it takes, and sometimes he'll sleep with me. He'll be happy to sleep as long as I'm there with him. So we
Right.
get in bed together, and
Let him go to sleep.
I'll sleep for a little bit, and that's not a bad idea. Although I don't get a thing done. That's why I don't have the house decorated. Normally, last year when he was napping, I'd do
All your
decorating,
stuff, yeah.
you know. And
Y'all going to McLean this year? Y'all gonna stay put?
no, we're gonna stay put. My parents are going on a cruise again. This time they're going all the way around the tip of South America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, big 3-week cruise.
I was gonna say 2 weeks at least.
Yeah, I
but
think they
3.
fly out of where? David knows it more than I do.
Well, they fly into Buenos Aires and
Start there.
leave they return via Santiago, Chile.
Yeah, and I just think they go all the way down close to Antarctica.
Yeah, well, they go around the southern tip. They're still hundreds of miles
So
north
that's
of
pretty darn
Antarctica.
close.
It's closer
That's
than
a
we
big
are.
cruise. But my dad booked that before my brother died, and because they were starting that tradition, because none of us with children wanted to travel, because
Right.
most children want to be home.
Exactly.
And my sister's children Nicholas is like in 2nd grade now, I think.
Oh,
So
don't
he's,
ask
what's
me.
That? Maybe 2 months, 8. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, and then Emily is just in her, I think she's in 1st grade now, so she's what, about
Who's
6?
that?
Yeah, that's about right. And they want to be home for Christmas. And so we've been kind of getting on my parents, like, you got to be the ones to travel at this stage of the game, and but my dad travels for work so much that he's just tired out. He doesn't want
So he just can stay at home,
well,
sort of.
he kind of used the cruise as like, everything's taken care of for you. You don't have to cook, you don't have to clean, you don't have to do a thing. And he has been writing for work as well as personal. He's kind of picked up, he writes for work,
Mhm.
I mean, as well as, all the other stuff he does. But he writes chapters for medical journals and so
Mhm.
forth. And then he kind of took it up as a personal advocate, or
Oh, that.
was that personal hobby, I guess.
Yes.
And then he told, he didn't tell me this, he told David that he was gonna write a book about my brother, and he wanted each one of us to add a chapter to it. So he was gonna work on that as part of one of his books, I think. Because he wrote a book about himself,
He did?
yeah, and he gave it to all of us, which was nice for Christmas, but then the one criticism we had was it was all about his professional life. There was nothing
Well,
as much about his personal
No, I think I was the only one who actually read it. So.
I read it. It was about his, but he gave it more to his cronies, his work people. So
Yeah.
that interested them more. But he thought it would interest us. It would be something we could, say, well, here's your grandfather, put us on the children. It's a good idea, but it wasn't about him. It was more just all of his professional stuff. Yeah, so he's going to try to write one that's more about his personal, because he's a first generation Italian American, so he has a lot more interesting stories to tell. His mom and dad came over on the boat, Ellis Island and the whole 9 yards, so he has more interesting